Hi guys, welcome to my video review of Krell KSA100 MK2 clone that I got last year during winter sales. You may have seen my first look video, and now is the time for the full review, including sound quality of this amplifier. So, I got this one for something like $600, but that was including sale price, coupons and some coins. Yeah, anything to get the price lower. The regular price right now, as I've seen, is anything between $700 and $950, and that includes shipping. Okay, so let's start. I got this particular clone because the photos of the inside were showing excellent build with two separate transformers. It was looking good on the inside and on the outside. I'll tell you more about the chassis in a minute. There are two finished versions for this clone. One of them is silver and it's just basically rectangular. And the second one is gunmetal gray and it includes these handles. Also, there is a third version with volume control and 4 RCA inputs. Volume control in that one is made using blue Alps pot that's placed here. I decided to get the version that was the simplest one because I just needed to check it out as a power amplifier, because as you know I already have a collection of preamplifiers and also I have digital to analog converters that can control volume. Okay, so the original Krell KSA100 MK2 was considered a very good pairing for Electrostats, Martin Logans, as I have them, because of the huge power output. Also, the original was Class A with fans inside. You can still get one of these second hand for something like $2,500 in Europe. I suppose that the US prices will be a little bit lower. So anyway, it was Class A, and from what I've read, it was known for a kind of soft sound. This is not the original, by the way, yes? It's a clone. Okay, so some specifications, some numbers. I forgot about the most important thing. The description for my system setup that I was using during my listening sessions is in the description for the video. And the same goes for all useful links, also in the video description. Okay, so the specification according to the manufacturer. This is actually a funny thing because as far as I can see right now, there are 3 available offers for that amplifier, and 2 of them have different sets of specifications. The first one says it's 200 watts per channel, but it doesn't specify the load. It also says that the frequency response is between 10 Hz and 50 kHz, and signal to noise ratio is 110 decibels. Also, the specification says that THD at 1 watt is 0.001%, which is a very nice number. Input impedance according to these specs is 50 kilo ohms, and this is the number that's common to both sets. The second specification says that the speaker impedance of the speakers that can be used with that amplifier should be between 2 and 8 ohms, and that's the second reason I got this amplifier. I've read that one, and my Martin Logans will go as low as 1.2 ohms in the treble. I'm always looking for power amplifiers that can take that kind of load, and this one says it will be supporting anything between 2 and 8, so 2 is pretty close to 1.2. Okay, the second set of specifications says that the frequency range is between 3 Hz and 150 kHz, so that's more than previously specified 30 kHz at the top. The THD is supposed to be 0.05, which is higher number than the first specs. The signal to noise ratio is specified as the same 110 decibels. But the second set of numbers gives us some more realistic numbers for the power output. It says that this amplifier should be able to output 150 watts per channel into 8 ohms, and that goes up to 230 watts of power per channel into 4 ohms. Okay, before we go to the build qualities, some of you guys asked me to power the stuff that I'm reviewing on, because you want to listen to the sounds of switches, relays, and volume potentiometers whenever they are there. So let's start this one up, and I don't know if you'll be able to hear that. I'll shut up for a minute. You should be able to see boing sound right after I'll switch that on. And yes, it's gone. The boing sound is very short, and then after a few seconds you can hear the relays switching on. So let's power it off, let's unplug the device, and let's continue with build quality and measurements. Some measurements, bear in mind. Okay, so the temperature. The first thing, the most important thing, I don't really think this clone works in full Class A. I would rather say this is Class AB, biased to be working in Class A for the first couple of watts. Why? Because of two things. The first one, it's nicely warm. I mean, it never works as an oven, portable oven, because it reaches something like 37 degrees centigrade after a couple of hours of playing music. So that's definitely not Class A temperature. And the other thing is power consumption. When idle, it's using 89 watts, which is way too low for Class A. So I would rather say this is Class AB. And that was one of the things that was mentioned under the first look video. Okay, so I've told you about the temperature, the power consumption. DC bias at the output was 29 millivolts for right channel and 27 for the left channel, which is basically quite nice. It's not as close to zero as with some other amplifiers, but it's still a nice score. Okay, let's take a look inside. Let's open that one. It's quite thick. It really is thick. Something like 4 millimeters of aluminium. Okay, before we'll do the tour of the outside. Transformator sizes. There was a large discussion about that under the first look video, because these transformators, according to the sticker on each one of them, are specified to be 400 watts, and some of you guys told that it's impossible. Well, without precise measurements we will never know, but I will tell you one thing. Up there we have Cambridge Audio Azure 851 power amplifier. I have two of them, and they are specified to be able to deliver 500 watts in monoblock bridged mode, and the transformator inside of that kind of amplifier is just slightly larger than this. I've measured the diameter, and it's like 5 millimeters on each side, which basically gives something like 1 centimeter wider here. So I don't know if each one of these is actually 400 watts, but I won't be bashing them as fake numbers, unless proven otherwise. Okay, so let's move with the tour. In the front of the amplifier, it's very heavy, it's something like 25 kilograms. We have a power switch and the power light that you had seen. It lights in red. One thing worth mentioning about the top plate are the venting holes. They not only look nice, but they are actually placed over the venting holes that can be seen on the bottom. And these sets of venting holes are placed exactly as I said before I was interrupted. The venting holes on the bottom are placed exactly where the amplifier boards are placed, which means that the warm hot air will be moving outside from the amplifier using a kind of tunnel for air. Okay, so we've seen the front, the sides. Yes, the sides are solid aluminum. I don't know if you can see that, but the front plate, not this part, but this part is like 1 centimeter thick. And the same goes for the side plates. The thinnest part of the amplifier is a back plate, because this one is only something like 4 millimeters, like the top one. In the back we have 2 handles, and we have 2 sets of speaker tabs and 1 set of RCA inputs that are made with fake CMC connectors. I think these are fake, I don't think these are real thing, but it doesn't really matter. One thing that I forgot to mention about the front on the sides, these two, this one and this one, they do not only look nice, but they actually double as front handles. You can lift the amplifier up with these, so that's something very nice. Okay, so that was all about the exterior. Let's take a look inside. Let's use my professional pointer. Okay, so underneath this power board there is a slow start module. I won't be able to show you that because I was able to see that only with a small mirror and small light. I won't be able to get that on my camera. On the top we have a power board. These are ELNA branded capacitors. Each one of them is specified for 10,000 microfarads, so we have 60,000 here for one channel and 60,000 microfarads here for the second channel. We have armor-on relays protecting speaker outputs, and we have, let's rotate that, we have some sunken rectifiers. I'm not sure, let's try to zoom in, but I'm not sure about the light here. Yeah, you probably can see the markings on them. Okay, so that's about the power boards. Please notice one thing. Let's zoom in again. Those things. All the ground tracks and all the power delivering tracks had been soldered with additional layer of solder, and it looks like manual work, and I actually like that because this means that somebody actually thought about the construction of this amplifier, because in this way these tracks will be able to conduct larger currents. Okay, we've already discussed the transformers here. One of the interesting things, the black cable in the back, that's probably not very well lit right now, like that. It's connecting grounds of both input channels with chassis ground at the bottom. And by the way, the chassis is nicely grounded too. And one more thing I forgot to mention, The power socket in the back doubles as a fuse compartment, and that's the only fuse you can find in the whole amplifier. Some other clone amplifiers that I reviewed also included fuses either on the power delivery board or on the amplifier boards themselves. This construction has only one fuse located there. Okay, now about the amplifier boards. Let's zoom in. Okay, so the amp boards are using MJ150-25G and 150-24G transistors. We have 3 pairs, meaning this 3 and the other 3 here. And we have some German VMA capacitors here and there. We have some ELNA black capacitors here, here, and there are 2 more here and here. I'm not exactly sure about this particular caps being original ones. Oh, let's try to, yes, here. The print on the sleeve is not exactly up to the ELNA quality. I have some ELNA capacitors bought locally that I'm sure are originals, and the print on the sleeve is looking way better. Also, the original ELNA capacitors that I bought here are basically brown, at least from the series that I got. Okay, so what else about the amp boards? The input signal is connected here with this industrial connector. It works, but it would be better to solder this directly to the board. This connection makes disassembling this amplifier a very easy thing, because you do not have to unsolder anything. As you can see, the ground tracks are also larger and soldered manually with additional layer of solder. Okay, what else? Let's zoom out and let's zoom in again. You won't be able to see much because the build doesn't have a lot of free space inside, but it basically looks good. I think you can get these boards as a do-it-yourself kit on AliExpress. I've seen, I think, exactly the same boards available for purchase. So if you'd like to, you can build amplifier like that on your own. Okay, what else? Power loom here. One thing more. Let's zoom in. Speaker output cables. The ones in the back here. Very thick copper cables. I like them a lot. Also input signal cables. The black ones here. Very nice. Although I would like to see them a little bit farther away from the power connectors here. They are not exactly running in parallel, but they are held together with a zip tie in this place. Okay, I think that's all about the build. There are some additional transistors behind the board, but I'm pretty sure you won't be able to see them. I was not able to read the descriptions on them in any way. I'm not able to focus properly there. Okay, so anyway, that was all about the build of this amplifier. Now let's talk about the more important thing, the most important thing, meaning how does it actually sound? Okay, so spoiler alert, it sounds good. The bass here is fast and tight, very well controlled, but it's not dry. It's very well textured and detailed. This was the first surprise when I was doing my listening tests. Also, I have a track by Curtis Newton called Noom. This is some kind of melodic techno. So anyway, there is a bass source that's moving and panning around at the beginning of the track. And usually it's very hard for a human ear to locate the bass source, and that's why you can have your subwoofer, for example, not exactly in the middle of your setup, but somewhere in the on the side or in the back. But in this particular instance, with this particular amplifier, you are able to follow the movement of the bass source around the scene, and that's very, very rare, and it's very, very nice. Again, this is one of the few amplifiers. You may remember that I've already told that in a couple of other reviews. This is one of the few amplifiers that properly gets the opening sounds of Fallout 3 theme by London Philharmonic Orchestra. It has the sense of authority, and it has the sense of how should I call that, surprise when the first explosions will hit. Okay, moving on to the mid-range. The mid-range is nicely detailed, and you will hear all the small nuances of voices in your tracks. The mid-range is very honest, and it will not mask any problems with recordings. If there are traces of sibilance in the recording, you will have them delivered. If everything was mastered correctly, it will sound excellent. The mid-range here is excellent. Now, treble. Treble is very open and it's very transparent. It's full of detail and again full of small nuances in the sounds. Excellent clarity in strings. All live recording will give you a great sense of air and space, and you'll also be able to hear all the small sounds within the audience of live recordings. And that gets us to detail. Again, excellent detail and excellent transparency. You can hear all the small talk in live recordings. All the sounds from the audience, all the clapping, all the things they say on the sides, in the back, in the front. That's very, very good. Again, choral recordings like Baba Yetu by Christopher Tin. This is the recording that I'm using to check for detail, because on good amplifiers you'll be able to tell that the choir is actually a group of people with different voices, not one 20-legged animal, and that these people are actually singing together, but you are still able to discern the voices, and you are still able to hear that the voices are changing, each one of them. It means excellent detail retrieval and excellent resolution. Imaging and scene. And again, excellent score here. That's another amplifier with excellent layering and positioning of the sounds. The scene is very wide and is very deep, and that makes all panning sounds float around you. If you have tracks with sounds that are floating from left to right or just around, you'll be able to hear that, and it will sound magnificent because of the depth information. So the panning won't be just in a flat line, but it will be like that. Okay, what else do I have in my notes here? The center image. The center image is precise and very stable. And as for layering test, try the first 3 seconds. That's important. First 3 seconds of Keep Don't Go. I'm sure you all know that track. The first 3 seconds before they actually will start to play the music. In the first 3 seconds, you'll hear the clapping from the audience on the left side. And right with the clapping, the first sounds of guitars are starting to arrive. And with this amplifier, you will clearly hear that the clapping is not only on the left side, but it's also closer to you, and the guitars are slightly behind the people clapping on the left. First 3 seconds. That's easy to track. Okay. And now, the big surprise. For the power amplifiers, my reviews get additional section for checking them with my multi-noggin electrostats, precisely Ascent I electrostats, because these are very honest and they reveal everything about your full setup, not only about the amplifier, but also about your full setup. And usually they magnify and they will give you on a plate what a given amplifier represents. Ascents are very honest and they work like that, telling the truth about the amplifier. In this particular case, it was the other way around. This Krell clone grabbed them by the face and used them to its advantage. It scaled extremely well to match their performance. This is one of the very few rare amplifiers that were scaling up with the electrostats. That's very important thing, and I'll tell you that again later. So anyway, every quality of the sound that I described earlier, that I've heard using my dynamic speakers, was present with electrostats, and moreover, it was all more and better. It was scaled up with better speakers, and that's excellent thing. The last part of my review, loose thoughts and kind of summary. Loose thoughts are things that I didn't actually placed in other area categories. So it's very clean and transparent, but at the same time it's not clinical and dry. That's good. The detail on Baba Yetu was excellent, and you could not only hear the separate voices. Let's say that's the first level of advanced amplifier class, but you could also hear small differences between particular voices. And this is very, very, very rare in my experience on this particular track. That was amazing. Okay. When I was doing this review, after reviewing quads, you've probably seen the quad 405 made into two separate monoblocks review that I've posted earlier. So when I doing this review right after quad review, and I liked quad clones that I review. Anyway, doing this right after them clearly shows there is a whole class difference between this amplifier and these two small guys. But again, that was something that I would expect given the price difference between both of them. But this clone being more expensive is also way, way better than I would expect from the price that I've paid for that. Okay, my next note. Yes, it's very dynamic, and sudden volume changes are very easy and effortless, and that's very nice. If you have a sudden hit in your orchestral score, it will make your hair on your neck rise, and this amplifier does that without any kind of effort, which means that it has large amounts of power in reserve. Again, these two guys, not only one transformer, but two of them. Okay, finally, and again, finally, Ascents, my electrostats. As I said, one of the very few amplifiers, it's literally 4 of them, including this one, that is able to make them sing and swing. And that would be the final reason to recommend this amplifier to you. Okay, moving on to summary. One question that will be asked in the comments, I'm sure of it. Don't ask me to compare it to Dart ZIL or FM now. In this case, I cannot reliably do this comparison from my memory. These 3 amplifiers are excellent, and to do the specific comparison, I would need to have all of them connected and to switch between them. So this one, I'm sure, lands in the, let's say, realm of the big 3, but don't ask me if this one is the best one of them this is the second place or the third place. Okay, so anyway, we have a third leader of my race now. The race to find the best drivers, the best amp that will drive best my Electrostats. After this review, when I was done with my listening sessions, I've spent the rest of the night, because I literally stopped at something like 3 AM, just enjoying my music and enjoying my Electrostats with this particular amplifier. I think this is just the highest possible praise I can give to this amplifier. Again, summary. Highly recommended. Very, very good piece of equipment, and also very cheap, taken all of the things into the account. If you want to buy one like that, do wait for sales. Do wait for sales coupons, because AliExpress coupons can lower the price by something like $100 in total, and that's a lot, especially in the beginning of the 2025. Okay, all the links and description of my setup that I was using during listening sessions is in the video description. If you enjoyed this video, you're more than welcome to support my channel by buying me a beer using super thanks here on YouTube, also somewhere lower under the video. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope this helped you to make a decision on buying or passing this amplifier. I really like the look, and the most important thing, I really like the sound of this amplifier. Thank you for watching this video. If you've seen anything that I could miss over here, if you have anything useful to comment on that kind of amplifier, if you have one, give me a shout in the comments, and I will add useful bits of information to the description of the video. Thank you guys, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.